Tim and Susan, for having this event this afternoon. I appreciate you inviting me to be here tonight, or this afternoon. My name is Alan Long, and I'm the current council member for the city of Murrieta. Lived in the community for over 40 years. My involvement actually started while I was in high school. I was allowed to be a volunteer firefighter my senior year. Typically you have to be 18. They made an exception that I could train, but I couldn't respond because that was my chosen career. Followed that path while I was a volunteer, went on to school, graduated from the fire academy and then to paramedic school. Got hired with CAL FIRE, spent some time in Riverside County going from station to station as they do rotations. Then ultimately was hired with the city of Anaheim. That's where I'm at today. I serve as a battalion chief in administration for the city of Anaheim Fire Department, and I'm also the emergency management director for the city of Anaheim. In addition to that, I met my wife growing up 40 years worth in Murrieta in elementary school, actually. Murrieta Valley Elementary, K through 8th, was the only school in Murrieta. We did the dating, or whatever you call that, in junior high, off and on through high school. We ended up getting married 2 years after high school. My grandparents and great-grandparents are still in the valley, and we are proud to be raising a 4th generation of Longs in Murrieta. Along the way, we had a heart for at-risk youth, so both my wife and I had time volunteering at Rancho Domicitas, Oak Grove Institution, for children that were at risk. We also ran the youth group for our church while we were both in school. That led to other involvement, whether it be coaching. The superintendent of the school district hired me while I was in high school to coach the high school wrestling team and flag football team. So just kept progressing, but I've always given back to the community. I've got 2 terms on the Public Safety and Traffic Commission, 1 term on the Planning Commission. Then ultimately in 2010, I ran for City Council, and the voters in Murrieta for the first time in history set a record by electing a non-incumbent, me, with the highest number of votes. Served on the City Council in the worst of economic times. If you think back to 2010, people thought I was crazy for running for council. We had a record number of foreclosures. Revenue was down across the board. Businesses were shutting down. And if you recall, Murrieta had 2 hospitals that were nearly shut down by the state of California. In my background as a paramedic in Orange County, the supervisors there appointed me to a quality assurance board. So that was one of my platform issues. In Orange County, I oversaw hospitals, and we had a similar situation in Orange County at that time. So in a very short period of time, we were able to help those hospitals get their act together, pass their state examination, and since that time have expanded and now offer state-of-the-art facilities. At the same time, one of my platform issues was to overhaul our general plan because we were not the community we were when it was originally built. We did that, and in that general plan, we were able to put together a fast-track program for development. That led to Loma Linda coming to Murrieta and building a hospital in record-setting time, and because of that, Kaiser has now chose Murrieta for their 80-acre medical facility campus, and they had choices to go elsewhere. So I mentioned to you what I entered to, worst economic crisis we have ever seen. Today, 4 years later, the economy is much better. Murrieta is a much different place. Foreclosures are nearly not seen. In fact, in some areas of our city, home values have increased by 50% in the last 3 years. Businesses are coming back, like BMW, Barron's, hotels, hospitals, and many, many more are starting to come back and take advantage of that fast-track program, and that's outlined in our general plan. In addition to that, we have adopted a goal in the city of Murrieta, and this is extremely important to me because as my background in public safety, we've been able to maintain one of the safest cities in the nation for nearly the last decade. And that's one of the things people like about Murrieta, and the other thing I hear is they like the small town feel. We're 106,000, but they feel safe and they feel like they know their neighbor and they enjoy the small town feel. So we adopted a goal to foster and promote a caring and connected community in everything we do, and that should be implemented to keep that small town feel. My name is Alan Long, and I'm asking you to re-elect me this year, 2014. Thank you very much.
My name is Kent Leeper. I've been in education in various capacities for 30 years, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm running for city council because I see the darkness of tyranny from an overbearing national government, and to mandate happy state government sweeping over this land. And my vision for Murrieta is that we go not gentle into that dark night. My vision for Murrieta is that we use the 10th Amendment to say that to that tyranny, as we said to the red light cameras, not in Murrieta. My vision for Murrieta is that even though Governor Brown vetoed a bill limiting the use of drones, what we say to drones is not in Murrieta. My vision for Murrieta is that we say to federal agents who go into health and vitamin stores with guns drawn, confiscating computers and products, not in Murrieta, and if you do, you will be arrested. My vision for Murrieta is that from Scott Road to Cherry Street, from Bear Creek Drive north to Winchester Road, we let freedom ring. Leap forward with Leaper.
Peace Corps, and it was much longer term. So I joined the Central Intelligence Agency, and I became a covert field officer for them, which means I could not tell people I was actually working for the CIA. So I did that for a career. And I truly enjoyed it, lived overseas, traveled overseas. I did the first Gulf War, did Bosnia, Central America, East Asia, and then I went back to Iraq again in 2003 for the start of those things. One of the greatest things about the Central Intelligence Agency is one day I was sitting in a meeting and this wonderful lady walked in, and she became my wife a few years later. And she served with me. We both served together in Central America. But I retired in 2009, and I started asking myself, well, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? I've served our country for a long time. Now I wanted to serve our community. So I started becoming a volunteer with the city. I was the guy who was taking the garage sale signs that happened over the weekend that everyone puts out, but no one ever takes off at the end. So I was going off every Monday morning taking down those signs. I joined the Community Emergency Response Team, and it's hard to get these endorsements, and I'm the only non-incumbent to have received these. But again, they see my commitment to public service. I don't have a full-time job. I don't have any job. I'm retired. I have the time to serve.
We're able to go ahead and continue to grow our parks, grow our recreation services. We're able to put bathrooms into a lot of the parks that don't have bathrooms now. We're able to upgrade the parks. We're able to put universal swings so people in wheelchairs can swing at the parks and kids can swing at the park. And I've also sit on the Corona Partners for Parks Foundation. I was recently elected to be president of that nonprofit organization. And through that organization, we're working to develop a universal playground in the city of Corona. We do not have a universal playground in the city of Corona right now. So this playground basically will be there so that folks, adults, kids, everybody of all abilities can play together. We're looking for ramps, we're looking for rubberized surfacing. That is going to be there so that we can have an ability for everybody to enjoy our playgrounds and our parks. Service is important to me. I mean, we wouldn't be up here serving for City Council if service wasn't important to us. I serve on many different boards in the city of Corona. I serve on the Corona Riverside Navy League, where they're working to support the Navy base in Norco and to help advance the Navy and the Marine Corps and the other surface fleets in the area. I serve on again the board for the Corona Partners for Parks, which is again raising money to build that universal playground. I sit on the board for the Corona Fire Safety Board, and that board there helps to raise funds to support our fire safety and our fire officers as well. And we are able to raise funds to buy the Jaws of Life for our firefighters so that they could use that to rescue folks on the freeways, the 91 and the 15. And I also sit on the Norco Education Support Team, which helps to raise money for Norco High School, which is the high school I teach at as well. So service is very important to me. I like to give back to the community. And it's time now for me to give back to the community about sitting on the City Council. There are three basic ideas that drive my campaign. One, again, is public safety.
Very much, and I'd like to thank Chris, Mary, Tim, and Susan for putting this event on. I appreciate that. My name is Ruth Ann Taylor-Berger, and I grew up in a tight-knit military family. My father was a career Air Force officer, and he took us all over the world. And that lifestyle is kind of unique. And my mother taught me that women are strong, resilient, flexible, but above all, they're equal partners in life's adventure. My husband, Tom, and I have been married 27 years, and about 25 years ago, after we traveled a bit in our careers, we landed in Murrieta, and we We fell in love with the community and decided to put down roots here. So I do have a deep connection with the city. We've lived here for 25 years, and I've participated in the incorporation process. I have sat on the Traffic and Transportation Commission, and I'm in my second term on the Planning Commission. This year I'm chairman. I'm also Supervisor Stone's appointee to the Oversight Committee that is charged with winding down the redevelopment agency. I'm running for City Council because I want to protect our quality of life for future generations in Murrieta. This is the most important job interview I think I've ever been on, but it's about my credentials, my experience, and the results that I've gotten. I have a bachelor's degree from Texas A&M University. I have over 30 years in public and private sector experience in community planning, transportation, infrastructure, delivery, and financing, in managing complex multi-million-dollar budgets. I have executive leadership skills and consensus building. I developed and managed a $3.7 billion transportation financing program, which I navigated through 15 cities, the unincorporated county, chambers of commerce that were dubious about the proposition, and a pretty unwilling development community who was charged with paying the fee. But after 67 projects on the ground, everybody is a cheerleader for it now. I'll work to keep Murrieta one of the safest cities in the United States. It's about the past 10 years, it's been the safest city in Riverside County. And I'll do that by funding additional public safety personnel and equipment. I'll continue to provide new roads, interchanges, and bridges, and flood control projects, because I know how government works. I know where to apply for the money and how to bring that back to the city of Murrieta. I want to set policies that continue to attract business in Murrieta. One of the things about Murrieta, it continued to have business licenses being pulled through the recession. That says something about the economic investment in our city. But I want to work with our business incubator to build a wet lab to support the high-tech companies that we have in there now and to allow them to have more ability to analyze and provide innovation. I want to instill that everyone that walks through the City Hall is a potential customer. Government is about providing service, and we need to treat people as valuable as they are. And I'm passionate about cultivating the next generation of entrepreneurs and residents in Murrieta by working with our school districts to continue to make sure that we provide that outstanding leadership and provide jobs in Murrieta so that we don't have that brain drain. I've been endorsed by the Police Officers Association and some of the folks sitting at this table today. When you look at the applicants and you look at experience, you look at qualifications and results, you're going to be drawn to the longest name on the Murrieta ballot, which is Ruth Ann Taylor Berger, and I ask you for your vote on November 4th.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. I thank you all for hosting this event. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to speak with you all. I'm sure my accent will give it away that I'm not a native Californian. I was born and raised on the East Coast in Massachusetts, but at the young age of 19, I joined the Marine Corps while in college, and following graduation from college, I served as an officer in the Marine Corps. I thought that would be for 4 years. It ended up being 27. So for all of my adult life, I've been in service to my country. And following those years, when I retired from the Marine Corps in 2009, look at the possibility of serving as a council member to Murrieta as a way to continue that service. I very strongly believe not only service to one's countries, but service to one's local community. For many years, as a uniformed member of the military, you stay away from the political arena, and as it should be. But now I have the opportunity to get involved. What are the priorities I have if elected? Well, they're very similar to some of the other candidates you've already heard. First off, Murrieta, since its corporation as a city in 1991, has more than quadrupled in size. I've seen a lot of that growth, and I do applaud many of the past members of the City Council and the city for what they've done. But we're to the point now where it's not only growth is important, but managing that growth in a very, very intelligent way so that we maintain the quality of life, the same point Mayor Long talked about. We must maintain that quality of life for our residents, and that's in many different ways. Besides growth for businesses, which is obviously key, both big and small business, we also need to look very, very much at the, quality of life, traffic management, road expansion, so that our residents are not overwhelmed by the growth of the city. Also, I'm a very, very strong believer in ownership rights, property rights. Any decision I make or any vote I would cast as a member of the City Council would look very closely at the impact of property owner rights. I believe they have to take priority even over maybe the city's desires. I also believe that you can collaborate and come to solutions, but property owner rights are very important to me. And lastly, the third priority I would say is a continued enhancements for Murrieta public safety. It's been touched upon already how important it is, and Murrieta is the 7th or 8th safest city of a population of 100,000 or greater. It's one of the 7th or 8th safest in the country. It needs to stay there. The fire department, which had some pretty rough cuts in the financial time, needs to be looked at and to address. So bottom line, I am here to serve. I've said before in a forum, I don't need to go look far as a good example for how to serve. And it's not me, not even in human capacity. I look to the Bible. I look to Jesus Christ. I look to other people as an example of serve. And that's what I would try to emulate as best I can. Service to others, regardless of race, color, or creed, is the most important calling an individual can have. And that is why I'm running. I seek to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I'm happy to be here. My name is Matthew N.A.A.C.P. My family and I moved to Murrieta about 5 years ago. And I'm running for Murrieta City Council. We were looking for, originally from the San Diego area, we're looking for a better community. Life experiences in these positions have trained me to be a leader in many different capacities. It's given me the unique ability to make decisions under stress that affect lives. People call me at a time of their most need, when their life is kind of falling apart, and I show up, piece it together, and make decisions that change and affect their lives for the better. I do that regularly, I do it daily. I'm a problem solver, that goes in with that. It's not a matter of showing up, dusting off the problem, making everybody be quiet and moving on. It's working with the community. That's key for everything. So that moves on outside the realm of just being a police officer. That's a daily life, a thing that we need to do daily, is how to communicate with people, how to work with them, and how to work with each other. Is understand where they're coming from, where we're coming from, what's going on in our lives. I have an intimate knowledge of how a community works. I see the inner workings of the city through working with the people, whether through the schools, through the churches, through community relations of all kinds. I'm out there talking to people regularly. When I'm not on something, I like to stop and chat with people, whether it be at the 7-Eleven or wherever, and just see how they're doing in their lives, how it's going, how can I help them. These are things that I apply in my life outside of work. I bring it home. I show my children. I open doors for people. These are great experiences for leadership. But I also see what damages the city, what we need to do to work together, how to make it healthy, and what can hurt it. I understand that businesses are the lifeblood of a community. I understand that we need private business. We need to work with that. Murrieta is growing at an alarming rate, and these are things that I want to work with, things that I want to help control. We talked about managed growth and quality of life. We need to continue on that path. We need to continue to manage and make sure that we provide the services as the city grows, and continue to work with the people, continue to grow in the business aspect. Without the people, the community, and the business working together, there's no success in the city. Public safety, all that ties in together. I'm running because I understand the importance of the quality of life and how this community works, how the people work. I understand the impact of local government can have on us and how it affects our lives. And I have a lot of knowledge